Hello and welcome to The Gathering, a Magic podcast with Jack and
Kole.
today we're going to be going over some spoilers, the results of a couple 10Ks, just Magic in general.
Absolutely, I'm excited. And I guess we'll just start off with some spoilers, get right into it. Well, by the way, or I should say beforehand, Jack went to the 10K. Jack, what are your thoughts about that 10K and I guess competitive Magic in general?
The modern 10K was amazing. It was really fun. Went 3 and 5. It wasn't the best showing, but I had a lot of fun, a lot of Jund creativity, and a lot of Esper Gorios. I saw big shout out to May who won the tournament. She was playing Living End. Living End made a big comeback in this tournament. The one of Fairy Macabre in the sideboard when she living ended against Jund Creativity was able to exile two of the Archons out of their
Oof,
bin, so that then she just brought the board back and the Creativity player had no outs. But shout out to
nice.
May for masterfully taking down the 10K, and then it was a good tournament overall. I got to talk to some people, make some friends. Always fun to play competitive Magic. And then on Sunday, today earlier, we were playing team constructed trios. It was standard, pioneer, and modern. I was on team infect. We had standard Bant Toxic. We had pioneer, which Slick Shot Show Off is basically a an infect creature. It deals damage in multiples of twos instead of ones, so that's pretty close. And then we had modern infect with domain. It had Leyline of the Guild Pact and Scion of Draco
Of course.
alongside blighted agent and Ink Month Nexus. And then the combo was you played Might of Alara and or the domain pump spells. So for 1 mana you can give a creature +5/+5. And there's two of them. There's Might of Alara and then there's another one. It's a little bit older.
Look that up. Might of Alara.
Gaia's Ga- yeah, Might of Alara and Gaia's Might, I think are the two. And
Let's
yeah,
see
so
if
you have
Jack's
you
chops are
have
right. He did. From,
Might of Alara gives
I don't know what that says. Oh, from Conflux.
it's one of the Alara sets.
And then what was the other one?
And then the other one uh Might of Alara and oh, my
I
brain's
put you on the
blanking.
spot. You had it. You had it.
No, you're good. It's
You
Might
lit
of Alara and
something else's
Might
might. Gaia's
Gaia's
might.
Might.
Let's see. How do
Gaia's
you spell
Might.
Gaia?
Geai. Ga Gaia Gea Gaia. It's really weird. Really
Oh,
weird. You have to trust.
he said
Gaia's
he
Might.
said trust.
No. AE.
G A E A.
Okay. It's
But you did get the
I was
card right.
close.
That is a fact. So there you go. Target
Gaia's Might.
creature.
Okay.
Very
It's
nice.
the same card. It's the same exact card. They
It's
just
like an
both
iron.
give a
It's like an
creature
iron trap. All
+1.
the useful
I ha-
information that hides in this brain.
it
What?
took me a
Quick!
tiny
What's
bit
the
of time,
draft
but
chap that's hanging out in Conflicts? I got it. Let me lock in. Every Magic player is just like, we would all be very good
so
data analysts, by the way.
the thing it's a hobby that gives you useful practical skills. So the team trios constructed, we actually were able to get on to a coverage match. We were 2-0 going into round three, and we played up against a very good team of Azorius Control, Esper, Gorios, and Red Green, Red Green aggro, and just really good, really close matches all around. Shout out to the NRG series for having an awesome weekend and letting us play Magic. And yeah, it was a great time. The prowess deck I was playing went 5-2. As a team, we went 3-4. Or 4-3. I'm sorry. We finished positive. That was a big thing that we started 2-0 and we wanted to make sure no matter what happened, we finished positive, and it was a great event.
Amazing. Absolutely good stuff. And yeah, we watched We could probably just watch your
Mhm.
coverage, honestly, right now if you wanted to, since we're talking about it.
We could, we didn't see too much of the game, so there wouldn't be too much to talk about. But I
Okay,
really
that's
do want
fair.
to talk about some of these spoilers.
Let's
Let's
do it.
scroll up just one card. One
What's
card.
up?
So, move
Prayers.
my face.
Y'all?
Yeah, move
Goblin.
my face a little bit.
There you go.
So, real quick. So, Primal Prayers is a 4 mana enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy, and then you may cast creature spells with mana value 3 or less by paying an energy rather than paying their mana costs. If you cast a spell this way, you may cast it as though it had flash. So, there's a lot of creatures that give you their mana value back when you cast them in energy. So there's like Servant of the Conduit, Whirler Virtuoso. Rogue Refiner doesn't quite do it, but it gives you a card back, so it replaces itself.
Electrostatic
Um,
Pummeler, apparently, we learned 3 mana gives 3
Electrostatic
energy.
Pummeler.
There you go.
So there's some random cards that interact very favorably here, and you
Well,
could just use it as like a way to flash things out.
Attune
But
with
there's
Ether
also
gives you mana, right? Because it
it
gives
gives
you
you two
two,
energy,
2 energy, so it gives you
2 energy,
mana.
and yeah, that's true. Yeah, Attune is the ritual, Cole.
Attune is Rite of
Attune
Flame,
is
right? Isn't that what Rite of Flame does?
yes. Red Flame is 2 and then 1 for each in the graveyard.
Oh, I see. Oh no, it's 1 for 2. Yeah. So it's Rite of Flame for primal prayers. Say that 4 times fast, why don't you?
That's pretty good.
This card seems so
Um,
fun, dude. This set looks like it's gonna be so fun. Like they found a way so far, in my opinion, to make energy look fun and exciting in a way that hopefully will not homogenize the format because it's not like standard. You're not putting it into a more susceptible format for something like a
yeah,
parasitic mechanic to take root. Modern is very powerful. I doubt that Primal Prayers is going to be like the the
the
top of
deck.
its pack, but I don't know. Like I just want to stick this
I
with Chthonian Nightmare and just like play a bunch of Grists and don't play Yawgmoth. Just play some other wild like creature combo deck and have this be the
wait
enabler.
that you can. That's pretty crazy. You don't always want to flash in your planeswalkers, but you can flash in a grist because you can pay 3 energy just to cast your grist.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
this card is so good.
It's definitely not as good as Yawgmoth, but like it could help you, in the more fair matchups, definitely. And then we did find something out when we were just doing some like thinking about it. Greenbelt Rampager gives you infinite ETBs because if you have no energy in your mana pool, you use it to cast some other creature fairly.
Yeah,
Then you cast Greenbelt Rampager for a green. When it enters, you get an energy, then it bounces it and it leaves, and then you can pay that energy instead of paying mana to cast it. And when you do, then you get the energy back, but it bounces it to your hand forcibly. It checks to see if you have two. Because you don't, you get another energy. But then instead of casting it with a green, you just continue paying the energy each time. So you pay it, and for each energy that you pay, you get an ETB. And you'll get infinite ETBs, infinite cast triggers, infinite leaves the battlefield triggers. So there's there's stuff that's going to work with this. Again, it's just not going to be. It's going to be about how playable it is.
yeah.
And it's probably not good enough in a world of Esper Gorios and Archon Jund creativity.
The reality is most likely not, but if it really is enabling something special and unique, energy is historically a very busted mechanic. I mean, it's something you can't get rid of. It's like experience counters in Commander. You just like they just hang out and they don't go away.
Yeah,
So very cool, very interesting, and I'm excited for this card.
and it's definitely going to create different play patterns. You're going to have to learn some new cards if it does get played.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to
What's up, y'all? Goblin Ringleader here today.
Disruptor Flute. We got 2 mana artifact with flash, ETBs, you choose your card name. Spells with the chosen name cost 3 more to cast, and their activated abilities cannot be activated unless they're mana abilities. So you're not shutting off Nykthos. It does say card though, so you can target lands, which is interesting. Maze of Ith. There's other lands
Urza
like that.
Saga.
Urza Saga's a good one. Yeah, that's a good point. A little slow for Urza Saga, but like on the play, it's good.
Yeah.
Um, I think this card is solid. I think it's an upgraded Sorcerer's Spyglass effect. I think that this card is like interesting to play over Pithy Needle. I think it's worse in Urza Saga decks, obviously, because you can't grab it off of the Saga, but
Mm.
it's also like a preemptive combo piece hater, or like impactful spell hater, where you're like, oh, I don't want them to play the One Ring. Cool, the One Ring doesn't have
Yeah.
any text here. Like, it both costs more to
If you can
cast
even
and can't
cast
be
it.
activated. Yeah, like,
What if I said it was a flash meddling mage? What if you go turn one Thoughtseize or Inquisition, or even Grief, right? You go turn one Grief, and then you're like, I see your hand. You have two of these spells. Here's my meddling mage. I'm just gonna name this spell. It doesn't have an activated ability. It just costs 3 more.
this
Now you
card gonna
don't
make
have that
Lantern
spell.
Control come back as well. Lantern of Insight, Disruptor's Flute.
Oh my
That's a meta.
god,
That's a meta I don't want to
Cole!
live in. Yeah.
That's
I don't think there's too much else to
this
talk
card
about it,
just
but
seems good.
it seems good. Yeah.
Oh. It's this is gonna this is probably going to be alluding to something that's going to be printed later. It's probably going to be important for something in the set. Probably gonna be
Yeah.
like a relief valve that they're printing.
Yeah. It's cool that it stops at one ring too at instant speed. Like they can tap out on turn 4, waste all their mana, and be like Disruptor's Flute. Because I honestly think that's a better play than like play Disruptor's Flute proactively, unless of course like you have nothing else to play on turn 2 or turn 3. If they go like
Yeah, that's
turn
fair.
4, tap out when they're playing 4-color control, you could just be like play Disruptor's Flute, as opposed to like playing it on turn 2, them just being like Leyline Binding when they have mana for it, and then just playing one ring. This is like at least an interesting consideration, but that play's really only good
Oh,
on turn 4. If they have one mana up, they could Leyline Binding or shit. So it's an
that's
interesting
true.
one to think
Last
about.
thing, what you could do with this card is if they go to Cascade, Cascade trigger on the stack, you can name the Cascade card that they're going to Cascade into. If they don't have 3 mana, then they just have to put it back in their deck. Just like might come up.
It's
Like
good
they
living
might
at
have
hate
three
for
mana
sure.
after Cascade. But yeah, you can like do some like finicky, tricky stuff if
Yeah,
you're trying to be tricky.
yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Let's
What's up, y'all?
try
Goblin Ringleader here. Today we're gonna be talking about a mythic from.
Ocelot Pride. One, you want to read it?
Sure. Yeah, so Ocelot Pride is a 1 mana, 1/1 with first strike and lifelink. It's a cat. And it is Ascend. So if you control 10 or more permanents, you get the city's blessing for the rest of the game. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, you create a 1/1 white cat creature token. Then, if you have the city's blessing, for each token you control that has entered the battlefield this turn, create a token that's a copy of it. So baseline, it's a 1 mana 1/1 first strike and lifelink. So it attacks and blocks very well. And then if you attack turn 2, baseline, they don't have a blocker, you deal them a damage, you gain a life, and then you go to the end step, you make a 1/1. Then let's say late game, right? You draw it and you like have a way to gain life without attacking. You move to your end step if you have 10 or more permanents. Let's say you make Urza Saga, Fable tokens, like any token that you can imagine that's good. Then you go to your end step and it checks what tokens have entered the battlefield, and each of them gets a token that's a copy of itself. Insane. For a 1 drop.
Can you imagine playing this in like the Knight of Sweets Revenge food combo deck with like Academy Manufactor, where like you combo
Oh
and
my god.
you make like 50 different tokens, and then you go to your end step and I'm like, okay, how many of these entered the battlefield this turn? Let's make more.
I know Matt is like, this card is not playable. Matt's out there just like, this card is just not playable.
Dude, this card is cracked. I honestly think it falls under the same category of like exactly like what you said about Primal, whatever it's called,
What,
Primal Prayers.
What's up, y'all? Goblin Ringleader here.
Let me actually mute
I
this. There
do,
we go.
I
Primal
do,
Prayers is
I do
good.
want to say,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. I was gonna say, this eats Ragavan. Proceed.
It does eat Ragavan. That is an interesting consideration, and I honestly think this card is fucking good just on its own. Just like play it on one, like you said, on turn 2, you smack them, and you make it a 1/1 cat. Like you don't even need to have Ascension for it to just start pooping out dudes, and that's kind of crazy. Like it also, we talked before the podcast, this wears a hammer really well. Like you get an 11/11 first strike lifelink guy that makes another 1/1 that is a cat. So if you have the Kimball guy, you can like equip your hammer to the cat. That's untapped. So now you have a huge blocker, and it's just like, yeah, this card's really good. It's a great
And my
Bowmaster's
cats.
target. It's a good Lava Dart target. So like, it's not to say that there aren't plenty of ways to deal with this card. I also think that it's like, I think it's like Ragavan in its own way. I think it's like a white Ragavan. It's got first strike.
Yeah.
It's got relevant keywords. It's got Ascend, which is super white. I'm gonna look out for this card. I think that the Ascend, my take is the Ascend text is gonna be mostly flavor text because getting to that is gonna be
Pretty much.
hard. Um, but this is gonna be good
Even
in
just
like
making a
Hammer.
token.
Yeah, you play this with
Wait
Kimball.
a second. So like, hmm, yeah, like you just literally you play it in Cabal. You could play a veto deck with like you like the life that you gain they lose. Probably too
You play
cheesy,
this
but
in
like
blue-white control. You like play this on one, and then like kill everything
ooh
else, and you're just like make
yeah,
two guys a
it's your
turn.
monastery mentor.
Seems really
Yeah, like
bad,
here's
but
my
that's okay. It's honestly not. It's
blue
probably
white
really
control.
good.
To be fair, the blue white control decks that are good right now in modern are Narset Days Undoing decks. There's like 4 or 5 Narset Days Undoing players at the energy store that I play in, like for weekly events, and they're like the people who are like spearheading like the Narset Days Undoing deck. 3 of them top, I think, like I don't want, a couple of them top aided, um, because like the person who won the tournament was on Narset Days Undoing, and I think the quarterfinals was 2 people from the store, playing, which is insane.
From Borsat?
Um, no,
Oh,
from the
from
energy
Energy.
store
Sure,
in
sure, sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
the actual store. Yeah, the deck is amazing. When I play against like other control decks, they don't have the legs, the late game. But the Narset Days Undoing deck, you play all the blue white cards, but then your win con is you just play 2 copies of Narset, 1 copy of Days Undoing. And then if you have 6 mana, you can just go, okay, we're both like almost hellbent. Narset, Days Undoing. Does it resolve? I win because I have 7 cards and you don't have a card.
You have none of the cards.
You drew a card to cast. Subtlety. Oh, it's not a creature. Force a negation. It's also solitude.
Yeah.
Like
Also
it's real.
Solitude. Put here in my
It's a
hand.
really yeah. It's a really good way to round the corner and make your opponent concede a game that otherwise you wouldn't win.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
I was like I can go to the late game because of ringleaders, and I couldn't because I drew 7 cards and they Narset Days Undoing. This
Do,
card is cracked.
is this card
So
worth talking about?
real quick. It's a 1 mana 1/1 that's got bestow 2. When it's bestowed, it has its text on a creature. The creature gains prowess when it's bestowed. Uh, so it's a 1 mana 1/1 with prowess in Merfolk, and it's a wizard. You can bestow it on top of something. I was saying in Merfolk, this is the creature that you want to sack to your free counterspell. You bestow it on a dude. You give your dude prowess, and then you have some sack fodder. You can like sack the creature it's equipped to. You get it back. It just seems like another semi-playable Merfolk, also a wizard, so it powers up wizards in modern.
Yeah.
Not a huge buff, but like it's a semi-playable card. I
Yeah.
felt like it, with the free counterspell, it's like maybe playable.
Yeah. It seems decent. I I think that like Tide Shaper is definitely still better than this. I don't know what else
Definitely.
though, so like that's a good point. I don't know what else, what other like one blue merfolk creatures
It's
specifically are sackable. Like at
yeah,
that
it's
point you're playing like blue other guys, like Siren Storm Tamer I think is a pirate. Like I'm trying to think of those like blue
mm,
value one drops and I can't really think of too many that are merfolk. So it's a good point. If they don't have
yeah.
other guys, like that's if you need to scrape the bottom of the barrel for a free freaking force negation, dude, you're gonna do that.
Well, in worst case scenario, it's a 1 mana 1/1 that gets lorded, and
Is
like
there a way
that
to like
sometimes is okay.
advanced search for type
Yeah,
line
if you go to
merfolk blue mana cost? No, that's not it, is it? Yeah. Which of these options? Blue?
Mana cost.
Any
What does
mana
it say?
symbols. Oh, I see.
So
Blue is U.
blue
But
whale.
Merfolk.
Ancestral vision.
Oh,
Uh,
Merfolk, blue, U. Search with these options. Tribal sorcery
Okay.
Merfolk. Okay, so we got some options.
Okay.
Benthic Biomancer is decent.
Curse catchers are
Curse
Curse
Catcher's
catchers a
good.
good card.
Yeah, Curse Catcher's
Um.
definitely better. So, okay, so there's some better options, it seems.
Oh yeah.
Merfolk
Also,
Secret
missed
Keeper.
colors. Missed
Oh,
colors a good
Mistcolor,
card.
yeah. Yeah. Merfolk Wind Robbers,
Oh,
decent.
Rishden Dockhand is also okay. So it's
Mm.
it's it's much worse than some of the other Merfolk that have been printed.
That's fine though. It's a consideration. It's also a blue one drop with prowess. Like that's just cool, you know?
Well, and like it's an aggressive slanted wizard, which like wizards might be a deck because like Slick Shot is a card now.
Yeah. I
But
feel like this might have
I'm
like
sorry.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like this might have like blue poopers implications where you slap a Curious Obsession on here. It makes Wizard's Retort 2 mana. Like you play this on turn 1, leave up Counterspell on turn 2 and Pioneer. That seems pretty good. So, yeah. Okay.
Oh, this is yeah, poor modern. It's just modern, sadly.
Yeah.
Well, this is a card I'm very excited about. So, do you know? Can you Google the new Cranko, the newest Cranko? I'm so sorry.
So MH3 Krenko or is it
No, no, it's the what is the most recent set? I apologize. Mur
Murders MKM?
that one. Can you read the first Cranko?
3 mana, 3/3, 2 in a red, Krenko Baron of Tin Street. It's a 3/3 with haste, legendary creature goblin. You can tap sack an artifact to put a 1/1 counter on each goblin you control, and whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay red. If you do, create a 1/1 goblin creature token. It gains haste until end of turn.
And then we're gonna go back to the creature. So
Pay
this is
1.
a 3 mana 3. Yes, it's a 3 mana 3/3 zombie goblin wizard. You can pay a life to sack another creature to create a treasure token. Now, you have another goblin. It doesn't matter which one. You sack the goblin to create a treasure token.
Mm,
You sack the treasure token to
for
make a
red.
red. The treasure token technically is put into the graveyard.
Yep.
Trigger. You pay the red. You make a 1/1 red goblin.
Ooh.
You need anything else, and you go infinite. You like need a way to use
Well, that
this,
makes
but
infinite
you
1/1
have
red goblins, doesn't it? Oh no, you sack the goblin.
you stack it each time. So like you
Okay.
would need
And you also
some
pay a
other
life too.
card. Oh, that's what it is. You need a blood artist, and you win.
Mm. Okay.
You if you have a blood artist and those two cards, then you are able to just drain your opponent for infinite.
What does
Sling gang,
Sling
yeah,
Gang do
sling gangs.
for us? Whenever oh, it's sack a goblin. Damn it.
Pashlik Mons would be really good because whenever a goblin dies, you get to deal a damage to anything.
Yeah.
That's a 3 drop though. You can
It
also
is a 3
do
drop.
you could do the Lord whenever a goblin is put into your graveyard from the battle. Whenever a goblin dies, exile the top card. But that also doesn't really do much for you. What you really need is you need like you could play. There's a couple different cards you could play. You could play Blood Artist. You could play a way to just like instantly kill them. If you get a Lord down or some way to make the creatures like have haste, and they're at a lower life total than you, you can just kill them. But you can also Cranko
Hmm. Do,
Bruin.
do any of these do things?
No, keep scrolling. I know what these do. Keep going. I'm looking for something specific.
Like a goblin that has this effect. Like this, the first thing I thought of was Meat Herc Massacre, because
Hmm.
it's like
No, the
fine, but
so yeah, this is just it's something that's been we're brewing that like it's a thought idea in the Goblin Discord that I saw. And so, just those two cards together, you can pay as much life as you want to make as many 1/1 goblins as you want.
Get as many
If
ETB
you
and
don't,
death triggers as you want, because you don't make as many goblins
yes,
as you want. Yeah, yeah. That seems good. I mean, you have
um,
like doubling season out. It does it, which is like
if you,
something. Oh,
mhm.
oh, Krenko's a 3/3. Damn it. Delny is power 2 or less. Delny is that 3 mana
Yeah,
Panharmonicon, so it just misses it. But anyways,
we
I'm
could,
excited for you to brew with this card. It's gonna be super good with that Krenko. I think you'll find a combo, no problem.
and we can move on.
Oh yeah, dude.
Power
Power
balance,
balance. Red
read that shit.
enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost if the two spells have the same mana value. So, this card is great. It's not counterbalanced. In fact, it probably produces almost the opposite effect in terms of its visceral reaction, where someone sees you play power balance, they're like, hell yeah. And then they cast their spell and they're like, let's go, brother. And you're like, whoosh. And they're like, yeah, we both get to cast our spells. Like, that's cool. Um,
Imagine how cool like a mirror would be with this card. You're just like we're both playing like I don't want to say Murktide, but like we're both playing like cards like that.
it just can keep
That's just
going. You're
like
like all twos, and you're just like,
yeah,
that's funny.
that's true. If you all I was gonna say if you all have ones on the top, it's Yawgmoth versus Murktide. They just go like I cast a DRC, I get a Young Wolf, you get a
Yeah,
Preordain, you get a
yeah.
you're
You get
just
a
like
fatal push. Yeah, delighted halfling.
yeah, exactly.
That's sick. This card is gonna be good. I don't think it's good. It's gonna be fun. I don't think it's
Yeah, it's gonna be
very
fun. It's not
good.
not not gonna be good.
You don't have
They do a
brainstorm. You
real
don't have very good manipulation of your library or power balance to be very good. So, meh.
they do a great job in this set. I feel like of making homage to powerful cards, but not making their counterparts busted.
Hmm. And I think for every action, a reaction is part of counterbalance's text. If I go back to Scryfall, which I don't know why I keep getting rid of it. Nope, it doesn't. Does it have flavor text? Doesn't.
No,
You
it
all
doesn't.
prints? Ah.
Come on, I love flavor
Anyway,
text. At
yeah.
least there's no
I don't know this one.
this
Read this
card
one
is
for me.
cool. So this is a 2 mana Ripples of Undeath is a 2 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you mill 3. Then you may pay 1 colorless and 3 life. If you do, put a card among those cards into your hand. So you have the ability to have a Bob that doesn't get bolted, and sometimes you can just play it in a deck that wants cards in the graveyard. You play it in Espergorios. You could play it in Jund Creativity. You could just play it in like a normal like mid-range deck. And if you really want to brew with it, you got Hidden Roots. You could do a bunch of stuff with this card.
Ooh,
It's an
Insidious
unboltable
Roots.
Bob,
Yeah, this is an Insidious Roots enabler.
and you don't. The issue is you don't have to pay as much. You pay 3, which is sometimes more than the mana cost of the card that you get back, and you have to pay a mana. So the mana is the real cost here.
Yeah,
You have to be willing to pay 1 mana in your pre-combat main phase,
yeah,
but you can get back a 10 drop. You don't take 10. You just pay 3.
yeah. That is true. You can get back your like Atraxa for if you wanted it for whatever reason. If you wanted it, no, you could get like your Solitude out of the bin and not pay 5 life. Like you'll be up on life in that situation as opposed to Bob. I think you're absolutely right though. Like you have to care about the mill 3. I think that like I don't think that this card is going to be nearly as good if you just jam it in a
Then
deck
like
for value.
Yawgmoth.
Yeah, like I
Yeah, you
think
play it with
Yawgmoth
like
is fine because you can
Agatha Soul Cauldron.
like I think Yawgmoth is actually good because you play this with Soul Cauldron, you play this with Grist, and you're like mill over Grist, get Grist back from my graveyard, and then play Grist, and like just having more Grist I think is what makes Yawgmoth better. So that would, but
Imagine, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Imagine this line. So you go like turn 2 Ripples of Undeath, right? Like turn 1 you play whatever dork. Turn 2 Ripples of Undeath. Turn 3, right? You mill Grist and Agatha's Soul Cauldron and another card. You pay 1 mana, pay 3 life, pick up the Soul Cauldron, right? Play your land for turn, play the Soul Cauldron, make your mana dork a Grist.
perfect.
Like tap, exile
Uptick.
Grist, put the counter on the dork.
Oh, there you
Fucking
go.
that's a sequence.
Yeah, uptick
That's like
your
that.
fucking, and in that situation if you play Dork you can Oh yeah, you have to pay that one, right, which you accounted for. Yeah, that's great.
But
Yeah.
still, that's fucking crazy.
No, you don't even need the dork for that, do you? If you're picking up Soul Cauldron, that's 3 mana and it's turn 3. So you can still use the
Mhm.
dork and uptick the grist. Yeah, Ripples of the Death is good. I think this card's just gonna be good in general.
It's gonna be an interesting card to see how it impacts modern.
As the monster lay dying, it stared into the eyes of the human who slew it. Decades later, it has yet to break its gaze.
So epic.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh,
We've been waiting
you
a
got
while.
Victimize.
We've been waiting a while for
So when I
Victimize.
first started playing modern, wanted to play Victimize in all my reanimator decks, and I found out that you couldn't. And I was like, why? Now we can. Victimize is a 3 mana sorcery. Choose 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. Sack a creature. If you do, you return the chosen cards from the to the battlefield tapped. Okay, so that's important. Unless you have Felidar Kiki Jiki, because then the Felidar untaps your Kiki Jiki, and then you can go infinite. Um, but if it wasn't Felidar Kiki, then like the entered tapped might stop some combos. But what happens if you just
Oh,
go
enters the
like
battlefield tap. That's a great point. Yeah, but you can still go like Heliod, Scurry
Felidar
Oak.
Kiki?
Yeah.
You still go Felidar Kiki, Felidar trigger untap my Kiki Jiki,
And it
and then
untaps the Kiki. There you go.
and then you just make a copy, and then the fucking game's on.
Okay, but honestly, the flavor text could just stop at the first sentence, which is die. But die knowing that your pathetic life will yield a great bounty for me.
It's so good. Flavor
Yeah,
text
dude.
is one of my flavor text plus. I love the game, but flavor plus art. I'm a Vorthos player. I just love the flavor. I love it when things are crazy and just like it matches the story, and it's just like so like aesthetically pleasing to watch. Like the completion of the color pie, like how everything like just like works like together. It's so nice to see how much care Wizards puts into the cards.
Yeah. Wizards, PSA, please don't ever AI generate art any more than you have already. And please don't ever make a card with AI generation because like your biggest strength is the fact that you use artists and you make amazing art. Don't ever get rid of that. Don't ever fold to a suit and tie telling you
Yeah,
that you need to use AI. And I think that
we've
I
seen
speak
some
for the
amazing art in the
entire
cards that
community when I say that.
we've seen some amazing art just from the cards we've already looked at today. Fucking insane.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, Victimize is gonna be great. I'm gonna get Kiki Jiki and Felidar Guardian back. I swear to God.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Devoted Druid, Vizier,
Yeah, you just pick your 2 combo creatures and you just fucking bring them back.
Yawgmoth, Hapatra. Uh-oh.
That's uh, Sundering Titan and Terastodon.
Yeah,
You
you,
know,
you think a
I don't
little
know.
bigger, Xenagos, Emrakul. Although you can't really get Emrakul out of the bin with Victimize. You would
True.
need to go like uptick to Fairy, and then you could instant speed Victimize, which you could do in Esper Vigorios, but I
I was gonna
digress.
say this
Yeah.
goes into Aspergorios, and then you can bring back both of your creatures. You bring back Grizzlebrand and Atraxa.
Well, I think
Insane.
that's a great place to stop. We're 33 minutes in. Um, this has been good.
Thank you so much for hanging out and always fun. Cole, do you have any closing words?
No, thanks for joining us on this podcast, on this journey. Let's do this again soon. And yeah, great job at your showing at the 10K, man. Proud of you.
Just grinding. Gotta get better. Gotta put those licks in.
All right, guys, we'll catch you later. Until next time. Peace.
This has been. Have a nice one.